Okay, we're live. Hi, welcome to the stream. Today we are with BirdieMaps again. He's going to show us some lovely tips and tricks for some natural maps. I think we have two maps planned. If you like anything that BirdieMaps is talking about, you can always go to his Patreon. I put a link in the description down below where he has like a whole bunch of free. How many maps do you have? Like hundreds?
Uh, Hundreds, I stopped counting.
Yeah,
At
hundreds.
400, I stopped counting.
After 400, that's a lot. But yeah, and of course you can check all of his stuff out down below. We also had a live stream. What is like 2 months ago now? Time goes really fast. Where
Yeah.
we took some of the community maps and redid them, made them quote unquote better. And yeah, so today I'll just let you go ahead. So when you're ready to like share your
Yes.
screen.
All right, then I'm going to share my screen. And I have two ideas for today. First, I want to finish up a map I've started today to save up some time. And we will also start with the new map from the beginning. And I guess we will do that first, much easier. That takes longer. So for natural caves, I would suggest that if you have absolutely no idea, start with the map wizard, the generating tool
Oh, I
of
forget that
Dungeondraft.
I forget that exists half the time.
Yes, when I started, it was more obvious. Now it's more in the background, and it's not great. In my opinion, it doesn't work really well for dungeons. If we generate one here, it's just as yeah, I stream. Okay, it's not a good-looking dungeon in my opinion, but for caves, it's really, really great. You turn down the complexity a little bit, the density a little bit, and in my opinion, it generates a great layout for caves. This one is cool. Here. So if you have absolutely no idea, you can always use these. But I think we should do a complete new cave map. First, let me remove the outer lines. Yeah, there's no delete all button. This will take a little bit.
Yeah, I
Also, I
wish.
have absolutely no idea what to draw or map today. If you want to put your ideas in the chat, what you want to see,
Yeah.
that would be great. There's something you want to learn more about. So, first things first, I don't use the cave brush tool. It works, especially for the beginning. It's quick and dirty, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying getting the shape exactly the way you like. So what I'm doing is drawing an outline with a path. You can pick any kind of path. I prefer my cliff path. Let's go for a more grayish color.
Which you offer right on your Patreon. I'm just plugging for you.
Yeah, they are somewhere deep on my Patreon, search by assets, but also for free on cartographyassets.com.
Oh yeah.
So unless you want to make money out of it, then I want to have a little bit fair share. uh,
I
so
want to add too, when you use the cave brush, the thing that I hate with the cave brush is that the floor is all just that cave
Oh,
texture.
okay, little trick. Back when I still use this one, you can erase the interior of the cave with the blast open to it,
Oh, that would have
and
saved a lot. And
then you
then,
can add your own terrain underneath it.
oh, well, now you tell me after years of me struggling.
Yeah, I'm also no longer using this technique. So, do we have any ideas in the chat?
No.
They want to see?
They don't want to talk to us today.
Quiet ones. Okay.
funny too. Now, last time I was in a live stream, they like tell you who your top fans are. It's like whoever is in the chat talking the most, and they get a little crown by their name. And last time it kept passing between like two people. It was like a strange meta competition. I like this
um,
because it already your brush already or your like path here already has like rocks built into the wall. I like it.
yeah, that's what I like about them. Okay. In terms of the shape, I prefer very low smoothness. And then when drawing, I try to pick one point where I start and one where I end. I want to end here. So making like these types of shapes. Always linear, very, very sharp edges. So can create a natural design.
And then yes, you can always move it.
That's another option. Once done, pick lines in between and exaggerate in both directions. Create more sharp corners. I think in the chat, in the Discord, it was asked for water caves as
Yes.
well, or caves with water features.
I feel like I always try to put water features in caves, partially because I feel like isn't that how most caves form, is like water erosion of some sort. So
Exactly.
I always try to put water features in caves, but I agree it's kind of hard to figure out. Like it's not like I mean I have been to caves. I don't know if you've been to any caves.
Yes, in Croatia.
Um, but that was a long time ago for me, so I don't always know. Someone says, "What about a series of hand dug caves or mines, like late 1800s?"
Ooh, interesting. Mm, can try to implement something like that.
So now you're like,
Yeah, I have an idea.
okay.
Okay.
Now you're layering the paths, right? To make
Exactly.
them feel more like have more depth.
Exactly. More height for the map and some softer corners. So makes these bulges
Mm.
in the opposite direction, which you will see later what they're used for.
It's always like fascinating to watch you like very carefully put these lines in. And I never think to like layer it like this. I saw something else you made. I don't know. It was one of your maps. I have like a million of them. I feel like anyway. But it was one of them where you did this same thing, and I tried to do it in like an underwater map. Uh,
Ooh,
yeah,
very difficult.
yeah, it was very hard. I don't know that I succeeded very well, but I gave it a good try.
Mm, we can do another stream for underwater maps because I recently made a whole pack about it and I learned some new techniques for it too. How to create a water effect, for example.
Hello, chat.
Yeah.
Chat says hello. Actually, I don't know how to say this name because it's got to be in a different language. So, oh my. I like that you try to like vary all the paths, like with these different rock paths. Like it just adds a little bit of
Mm,
detail.
Interesting.
Oh,
I just do
it's
it.
it's Olex. Sorry.
Now he's coming.
We are using Dungeondraft, which I highly recommend because it's like a one-time payment and is a very good tool. There's lots of people who, like Birdie, make map assets for it, and but even just like the stuff that's built in is really good. Sorry, Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah, what I like about Dungeondraft is it's very simple and it can handle very big maps
Yes.
without any problems.
And my cat is here. Is it like a browser-based tool or a one-time download? It's a download, like a software. So, not a browser tool.
Yeah. Interestingly, Dungeondraft is based on the Godot game engine.
The what?
So it's technically a game.
What? I didn't know that.
Just based on it, so it's not fully. So that's what I use the bulges for. I place some patterns underneath it, in the same color of the cliff. Because terrain sometimes looks more like terrain and not like a huge, massive rock or a boulder.
Ow, Flinty, your claws, buddy. You can't claw me while we're on stream. You gotta be a good boy.
Gotta behave.
I don't think he knows that word. All he knows is cuddles. Already, this is a way more natural looking cave than I make. And your pattern, like your, I think it's patterns, right? This cliff face stuff that you do.
This
Yeah,
one?
that's a pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
That's just.
I was gonna say I didn't think to do like just bits like that until I watched you working a few times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, patterns very underrated tool in Dungeondraft. Can use it for way more than just floorings. Always forget to set the layer.
Me too. Oh, that's my. You always say like you need to just have a system. I still don't have a system for my layers. Oleg said, I used to make maps in Incarnate. I am trying to figure out Wildshape to make 3D maps. Is Wildshape a software? But it's resource intensive on my PC. I've never heard of Wildshape.
Me neither. Not so much into 3D maps.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more work compared to 2D. And they are not used that often, I would think.
Isn't there one? What is the one like alchemy or alchemists or something?
Dungeon Alchemist.
That's what I think. I think that one's 3D,
That's,
right?
that's a very interesting one. It can generate maps basically. You draw a room and it fills automatically.
See, but I probably wouldn't like that because this is why I make most of my maps is because I have a certain thing in my head. I'm like, it needs to have these particular things in it, and then I go to make, or I go to like look for maps, and I'm like, this is good, but and then even your maps I add things to them sometimes because I'm like, well, it needs this specific thing, or I want this building to be destroyed, or.
It's exactly that one thing you can't find on any map.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always a need for new maps.
Yes. He says, I bought Wild Shape before I learned about Dungeon Alchemist. So I guess it is a 3D map maker. I'll have to look it up. Sorry, go ahead, Thomas. I interrupted you.
That was nothing. I forgot already.
Story of my life. I'm like, I don't know. Just talking.
What I basically do all the day is drawing the same lines over and over again. You think about it, I start with the first line, then I do another line underneath it, shadows, patterns.
This is cool though. Wait, how did you get some? So some of those are on a different layer, yes, than the water layer.
Exactly. I knew already that I wanted to place the water area here along this side. So I started to layer them with every line a little bit lower.
Jacob says Dungeon Alchemist is a great map maker for people in a rush. It makes both 3D and top-down maps. Huh. The map looks fire, by the way, they say, already. And you haven't even put the cool stuff in. All the objects and the mushrooms and the whatever else.
Am I so predictable?
With no. The mushroom? Well, maybe. I just know it's like, you know, you do the rocks, and then, of course, there's like a spiderweb section of map making. And I know if it was a building, you'd like to put a statue in it. That's about it.
I remember that one day my player started to play bingo on my maps. And most of the time they has a glowing crystal on the map. Since then I rarely place crystals anymore.
They ruined it.
No, I don't want them to win bingo.
What do they get if they win bingo? What's the prize? And now you're in the scatter tool, which I don't know how many people use the scatter tool or not, but I feel like that's kind of one of the better parts of Dungeondraft because it like helps you randomize things a lot.
Absolutely, but I wish there were one more scatter tool, which allows to place in a radius rather than in a point.
That would be nice, or like a line or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to point out some stuff you're doing. So you're covering some of the ends of paths so they look more natural.
Can you do it more like a sports moderator?
Yeah, kind of. Jacob says he missed the beginning of the stream. Don't worry, we will probably post this. I mean, it auto posts after stream. We just so you can always go back and watch the beginning. No biggie.
Yeah, what I'm now doing after placing all the cliff lines, I'm placing the major rocks, the biggest ones. Those are the ones from Scrond. Always recommend them too.
Yes, a lot of Scrond's assets are kind of essential now, especially all their plant ones. I love the plant ones.
So now we get to the smaller rocks and we scale a little bit further. I need to learn how to talk like Bob Ross.
Like Bob Ross. Just put your happy little rocks right here. Because there's no trees in this one.
Every big rock needs a small rock on its side.
Will the big rocks be like a zone of difficult terrain if they are on the road? Maybe. That would be up to the GM.
Mm-hmm. That's how I would handle them. Same for the cliffs. I have my own system because I always use the same type of cliffs. These ones, the wavy ones from Scrond, are always 5 feet high. So I know exactly how high this area is in total.
That's smart. I wish I had thought of that sooner, actually. I always worry about putting too many rocks. Well, I guess there's no too many rocks in a cave, but sometimes it feels
Yes.
like there might be too many rocks.
Yes, yes. In the cave you can't have enough because you lack most of the other assets.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming most of the people joining today have been on the last stream as well.
They might have been, they might not have. If not, they can go watch the other one. It's on the channel for sure. Not to self plug, but here we are. I really wish I could use my armrest, Flinty. He's like right on my armrest. Don't bite. I felt that little chomp.
Okay. So after placing the big rocks and the small rocks, I'm going to the oddly shaped rocks. So, like these. I can place them with the scatter tool in a random direction. They're too specialized. They have a too specific shape,
Mm-hmm.
but they always fit in any corner.
And I feel like it breaks up that like cave wall path a little bit too.
True. You're better than analyzing my moves than I am myself.
I'm just good at talking. That's why I'm here. I'm here to talk. So Jacob said, I watched the video but wasn't able to join it. It was a great stream and I love all of Birdie's insights on map design. I started incorporating them into my maps. That's very nice to hear.
Yes.
And then Alex says, I have discovered the channel yesterday and I enjoyed the tutorial so much that I decided to check out the West Marches stuff. Yes, he just joined the West Marches yesterday. Which this isn't a plug for that, but I have to approve his character tonight. So that was a very specific rock. Like,
but you can always find a corner where it fits.
yeah. I feel like these little rock assets to make certain points more interesting. And I feel like with a cave, because it's natural and you're like, you can't put like, I don't know, furniture in it to make it interesting, Not usually, at least.
Yeah, exactly. But there are other things you can do. Depending on what type of cave you want. If you want like a true natural cave, then there's probably nothing interesting. But any fantasy setting allows for way more interesting points.
Oleg says that specific rock looks like a perfect platform for a goblin ambusher. Yeah, maybe.
So, what you can also do to make areas more interesting, placing a pattern on top of the rocks, like I've done here. Pick the correct color. With or without outline, depends on your choice. Then I roughly match area.
I never thought of doing that either.
We can go to the terrain.
This I feel like you can spend forever on.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just so many options.
Yeah, but I still use the same ones over and over again.
Yeah.
Get so used to the ones you see. Darker.
Oh, Flinty, stop purring. I think he's mad at me for not penning. How much time does one map take to create?
You'll see.
Yeah. That was from Olex. So, I feel like it kind of just depends on how big the map is and also how detailed you want to get. I feel like Birdie gets way more detailed than I do typically. I still get detailed, but I think after a point I'm like, I just need this to be done. So I just like cut it off at some point.
Yeah,
Last
I also think the content of the map is relevant. For
Right.
example, I can create a map, forest map in like 10 to 20 minutes without a problem.
Really? Jeez. I don't think I
But
could do
yeah,
that.
I'm used to it. I'm trained to do it. I have my rules that I follow. A cave map, as you see, can take like an hour. Depends on the size, and if it's more complicated, more mixed themes, if I were to add a kobold layer or goblin layer as well, it requires more steps.
Right.
But the more natural the map is, the easier it is,
I guess that's true because
in
you
my
don't have to
opinion.
put like points of interest,
Hmm.
on the map.
And you can make use of the scatter tool more.
This is always like interesting to watch because I always am like, how does he know where to put the terrain to make it look like?
Okay. Maybe I should explain that. I usually start out with the gravel at the bottom of cliffs, and then I draw a little bit around it to have. That's also because I don't use the smooth blending. Uh, some assets can go in between these, so I make use of it. The edge of every cliff, I place gravel. On top of a cliff, I place more solid textures like these ones or smooth stone. And if it's getting a large area like here, I go over with something more smooth, so it's not overwhelming the eye.
Mm. Yeah, because some of those have like an opacity or like you can see
Hmm.
those on top uh, of the other terrain. So you have a method. You don't even realize you're doing this method. This is that's why I'm here. I'm here to ask the hard questions that you don't think of.
Yeah, it's like teaching a child basic mathematics. You don't know how you learned it and how you teach it.
But you know you learned it at some point, and now you have to
Yeah,
explain it, and you're like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's 2 times 2 is 4.
Yeah.
It is. Accept your fate.
And you always use at least 8 slots or whatever on the
Most
terrain
of the
brush.
time.
Yeah.
There are very rare situations where I have enough with 4. But that's very monotone maps. how I'm placing paths around the terrain. Only if I have a proper path for it, like for the sand texture. I always get the orientation wrong.
I do too. I think that's just a part of Dungeondraft. I think any user of Dungeondraft probably gets it wrong.
Yeah, I still haven't really figured out how it works.
Yeah, like how do you
I always
tell?
thought because of the orientation of the asset, but that's not always the case.
This was the thing you showed last time where you like put a path edge on the terrain that I did not think of,
Mm-hmm.
but I like how I just like how it looks. Like it just feels more like that's what would happen because sand does kind of have that like I don't know what you call that, like a
Mm,
peaking because it blows in and it like you know.
that's what you mean, yeah. For these areas, I think it's less natural. It's more visual appealing for the eye.
Mm,
Like it fits with the comic book style.
yeah.
Yeah, comic style.
And since everything on here is like, has those dark outlines, it just works.
Mm-hmm. And also these paths are great for cover-ups.
Mm-hmm. Sand, it's rough, coarse, and gets everywhere. It does. I know. I just cleaned out my car. We went to on vacation last week and or a week before and cleaned out my car on Wednesday and there was so much sand. I was like, how did we get this much? We didn't take we didn't put things in the car from the beach because we had a hotel room. So it all went into the hotel room and then it made it into the car. And I'm like, how did that happen? Thought we cleaned everything off.
It's the same with glitter.
Yes. And I have a 2-year old girl, so I'm expecting a lot of
There's a lot of
glitter.
glitter.
She hasn't played much with glitter yet. Right now, she's into pink and purple, so everything is pink and purple. Like we bought shoes for her on vacation, and it's all pink and purple, and they light up, and they have unicorns on them. So very typical, like 2-year-old girl. She picked them out.
A happy little girl.
Yes, she is a very happy girl.
Also, what I'm doing here right now, I think we talked about it in the last stream as well. When making caves, I want to have the lighting incorporated in Foundry. So I place another line on top of the cliffs, highest layer, with block lights on. Comparison, if I were to place a light bulb, you see it doesn't reach over. And when importing into Foundry, you automatically have the wall set on these areas too.
And that's usually what we use. If anybody's asking, we use usually at least Thomas and I both use Foundry, I think. But he also provides a lot of Foundry maps on his Patreon, which is where I get all mine. And then, I destroy his creations sometimes. I sent you the picture of me destroying some of it, though.
I need to send you my placeables.
Yes, you do.
It did it, right?
I think you sent some of them. I think the problem is I have to download them and put them in the right place so I know know where they are.
They're small enough you can save them in Foundry.
Yeah, if I remember to do that.
This step is not really necessary, but It's a
I
personal aspect.
I like doing that too because as a DM, like when you're looking at the map, or if you use it and you don't use like the walls, um, like because I have one in-person game that is like we put the maps on a TV screen on the table. So you can't really use the lighting and the tokens and stuff. So I like to have that area dark because then it's less distracting and they can focus on like the actual cave itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessary. It might not be necessary, but it looks better, I think.
You could also achieve this by exporting without terrain and lacing a black background. I think this one is easier.
Agreed.
So we wanted to have a mining track, right?
I think that's what someone mentioned, right? Let me go back.
Like a
Lois.
1800.
Yeah, like a hand dug cave mine, think late 1800s. Yep. That was the suggestion. If anybody else has suggestions, please drop them in the chat. We'll throw them in. Why not? Could be a crazy cave, though, if we go with all these different.
I mean, we can copy paste
Yes,
the whole
that's
map,
true.
do variants of it. Okay. So this would be the basic cave layout where I would start to work with if I want to have something more special. So for example, now we make it mine. Let's place some mushrooms first.
See, I called it. No, just kidding. Sometimes I wish that the both the scatter tool and the like object tool was just like you could just toggle it because I always feel like I'm looking in one
Mhm.
and then I'm like, oh no, I don't want it to scatter, and then I have to go in the other one.
Oh, yeah, I wish for it. I wish for so many features. Hotkeys, for example. More hotkeys, please.
Yes. We need an underground waterfall, Jacob says.
That's what I've planned here.
It's like you knew. We got mushrooms. I always have to be careful with mushrooms on the map, though.
Your
Because
players try to eat them.
yes, I don't know what it is. Why? Why do you want to eat strange mushrooms in caverns? Stop.
It's a video game. They give you a buff.
They don't. Most of the time, I make them like get a level of exhaustion, or you know. Lois says might be worth suggesting to some modders of Dungeondraft for more hotkeys. We have. I don't know what their plan. I haven't checked up on because I'm sure he has like a Discord and stuff. And I can't keep up with other people's Discord. I can't even keep up with Birdie's Discord, and your Discord is not as active as most Discords, you know? It's like
I can't even keep up with my own Discord.
uh, I like this because it makes that one rock feel like it's like above everything else. Because you're putting these below this. And you're just swapping between the three different planks.
Exactly. I think I have prefab for it. Could have saved some time. Oh, I forgot what I have as prefab and what not. Which direction? I think these two areas should be
Yeah,
connected.
sure. Man, this is like such attention to detail that I'm like, I would just like slap planks everywhere.
Oh, I could do so much more. Wait, I do it. It takes time, but it's worth it. So, okay.
Oh yeah, a rope bridge. I would not walk on this. Like you probably couldn't pay me to. The planks are so far apart. I'd be scared. I'm afraid of heights too, so that probably doesn't help. What are you gonna put on the ends here? Now I'm very curious. Oh, it's in the water. Oh.
Too long.
Oh yeah, because it has to connect to. Oh. Like it's fallen down. Definitely wouldn't step on this now. How do you think of these things? Like I wouldn't have thought of putting a broken bridge in the cave.
I think that's because I made many bridges by now, and I think every map creator has at least one bridge going over a chasm, and it's broken. It's a common theme.
Do you study other people's maps for inspiration? Or do you just like take real like how do you get your inspiration, I guess, is the question. This is a KYLIE question.
From from real world. So I've been to a lot of castles and keeps in Germany. Lucky to have them here. um, then video games, big inspiration. uh, Sometimes at the beginning I was looking more at other people's maps, but when starting out a business, you will automatically compare yourself to others, and that's not good.
Yes.
So I tried to avoid it actively. And by now I'm just scrolling occasionally Reddit myself, and when I find a map that's done great, I analyze it. Oh, how did he do that? For example, water effects. How do I do water effects? That's difficult.
Yeah. As a person in the US, we don't have a lot of castles here. However, we do have a lot of like old buildings still, you know, not as old as castles. That have like unique architecture and shapes. So look,
It's an
I
ongoing meme that what you call old buildings is new buildings for us here.
yes, exactly.
I've been in places in a tavern that's 400 years old.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that. Not really. Plus, the US is so big. It would be hard to like travel to all of these places too. Whereas in Europe, you can travel, you know, a couple hours and you see very different architecture and style.
By country, definitely by country. If you go more into Italy, crazy different. But Germany, yeah, I would say the northern parts are more different. Southern is closer to Austria and Switzerland from the architecture. Um, but once you've gone over the Alps and you're in Italy, you have a totally different architecture built into cliffs, houses built into cliffs. That's amazing. Okay, so we got this one.
Alex says, "Oh, can we make suggestions for the map details or something major?" Yes, both. Do
Go,
whatever
go,
you want.
go for it.
We will also give this map for free, so I'll try to. It'll be on the Discord at the very least. I think I forgot to put them on the in the description of the last stream. So now I remember 2 months later, but you know. Better late than never. But you also probably put them on Patreon and stuff. So
They will be part of the community pack, but the next community pack is next month. So not so far away.
we've draped some ropes. I know you like to hang lights from the ropes, which is a technique I definitely stole from you. Now we've got planks. Oh, because we're doing mines, so I guess, in a mine they would use planks to like hold the ceiling up and hold back, parts of the wall. Keep it structurally sound.
Not so happy with neither of them. I used those for the bridge, so I can't use them for the top.
I think planks are like hard to use. Alex says, "What if the bridge used to be supported by an immovable rod and the ropes have rotten or rotted? I guess. I mean, I feel like you can get that feel already from what we've got here. You would just have to add a magic item." Are these planks from you or from Scrons?
Those are mine.
Okay. Oh boy. They're trying to make me speak German in the chat now. So I'm going to get this very wrong. Actually, I might be okay. Also, guten Abend, wie geht's? Right? Is that how you say W's with like a V sound?
Yeah, that's correct. Now try to translate it. Not difficult.
I don't know what Abend means. I'm gonna assume like evening or afternoon, so like good something. Good day.
Yeah, correct.
And then what's up or how's it going?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Good evening. Sorry, my mistake.
I'm gonna learn German. If we just keep doing the stream regularly, I can learn German too.
Oh, maybe we can do a German stream.
I did take German. I think I told you this one time that in high school, but it has been a long time since high school.
Ooh, time passes by.
I know. Now we're doing the spider web portion. See, I told you there's spider webs coming. I like that you always they're kind of underneath things. Because if you think about it, spiders use different points to attach their webs. So don't make your spider webs just floating in the abyss. Like they have to be attached to something.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And I always like you do it I think without thinking, but you like put things in the wall and underneath other things and they're like barely peeking out. And I'm always afraid to do that. And I don't know why. Like you don't have to see the whole item to know that the item is there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Works for buildings as well.
Yes.
Like last time, put the furniture closer to the walls.
Yes. Now these shadows, which add so much depth to the scene.
Otherwise, you wouldn't recognize these as planks going over you.
Mm-hmm. Alex says their German isn't the best, but because their university teacher was very old school. I don't, yeah.
What type of old school?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering as well. And I did get it right. Good evening, how are you? So I got it. That's easy though. Now you need to like I don't know. There's some hard things. I'll never remember it though. It's been a long time. I did like it, even though a lot of people at the time that I was studying were like, "Why would you want to study German? It's such a harsh sounding language." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's just so different and yet similar to English. You know, like structurally, it's not that hard, but the sound is so different, and I liked it." I also studied French, Latin, and Japanese though. So I think I just
French
like
is difficult.
French is difficult because theirs is like the opposite. It's like everything has to flow together so nicely. So then they literally change the pronunciation of things so that it sounds better, even if it's not how you would pronounce it normally.
Mm. I think Spanish is kind of easy to learn.
I cannot roll my R's though. That was the reason I never took Spanish, is because I couldn't roll my R's. I'm sure I would have learned, but but now I regret not knowing Spanish because there's a lot of Spanish people in or Spanish speaking people in the States. So like I could have learned a useful language that I probably would have kept, you know? Alex says the teacher was a big meanie and I wanted to focus more on English.
So now we need to figure out what kind of mine it is.
Oh yeah. Any
Is it a gem
suggestions?
mine, an iron mine?
Let's see. But yeah, I saw you put like ladders for which also add depth to some of those cliffs. Jacob says maybe add a sifting station that uses a bucket and rope just to the right
Ah,
above the bridge.
I see.
Oh. A mine of miners, like young people miners.
Oof. Now I need to search for a specific one.
I did not realize you could drag the assets open like that. Why?
Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, the button is too small.
I didn't realize you could do that. I'm always looking at like just three little columns of assets or whatever. Like I'm learning
Yeah, up
things
to
too.
6 is okay. Up to 6. 7 is the maximum. Otherwise, I can't recognize the assets anymore. It's also very crazy how fast your eyes recognize assets after a while.
I will agree with that. Or like how you just know to scroll so far down and that's where you'll hit like Scront's assets or like, you know, you just know how far.
These ones.
One bucket. This person says it's Alex again. He says add a flump playing in the water. I feel like that's a creature, and that makes it less usable for other people. If you add specific monsters like that. Plus, you wouldn't have a flump in like Just one area, probably, right? So it would move. You'd need that to be a token. What are these little things? Little.
I think these are lanterns.
Oh, they are lanterns, yes. Ew. Oh, that's a unique pole.
These are from Architect. If you want to pay money for assets, go for Architect. Worth it. Every asset pack.
And they all still look like Dungeondraft style.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the one thing there's plenty of free assets out there too that don't necessarily follow the Dungeondraft style, but I like the stuff that's built in to Dungeondraft. So I'm like, I want it to all match, and then I also like to find creators that use Dungeondraft assets, so that like if I have to add something or destroy Birdie's maps, then
at least do it in the Dungeondraft style.
Yeah. Okay, they say, okay, fair. How about a minecart or some bucket that's in the water? I think this is going to be something. So, just to narrate what happened here, you made the path, you can make the transition grow or shrink on the ends, and that's what he did there. So, it looks like it's like sinking into the water. There's your bucket. I also like that you added different assets together to make this like contraption here. What would that even be? I don't know anything about mines.
I'm not even sure myself. Something that can pull up buckets. I'm not always making so many thoughts. Machines and contraptions. It's magic. Just have to look like something.
Yeah, it does look like something.
Except for sawmills and other simple stuff. I try to make them realistic.
I think those you can find accurate pictures of, though, too. Mm-hmm. Jacob says it's just a pulley system. Yeah, you're right. It just doesn't, it looks more complicated than a pulley system, but you're right. These hold back the cliffs, prevent it from like falling, for stability, to hang stuff on.
I was going more for fences to protect the people walking here, but okay. We can protect the rocks as well.
I meant like, to keep the rocks from falling on people. It's fine. Oh, that was a big skeleton. Oh. Died doing what he loved? Mining?
Maybe. Wait, I have another idea. Now that you say it, it has to have a story.
This is one of my favorite things about map making, though, is like, making a story and like letting the environment tell the story for you. That's what I like about even video games and stuff too. When you find something like in Skyrim, sometimes you can just find things and it's like there's no quest here, nothing, but there was a story.
Have you played Fallout?
I have, but I'm not very good. I only played a little bit of Fallout because I'm not as into the like guns and stuff in Fallout, so I could never determine like if my weapon was good or not and what kind of weapon I would like to use. But I know that I innately am always an archer. So like when it came to Skyrim, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I never change. Like always use a bow.
Stealth archer for win.
But Fallout's made
In
by the same people.
Fallout, they are doing this very, very often. Like teddy bears. That's one thing I can remember all the time. The teddy bears. You find teddy bears everywhere in all the types of position, or skeletons in a bathtub with a toaster in it. What
Yeah.
happened here?
Yeah, exactly.
Missed some webs here.
Alex says, what about adding some lead ore to the cave?
Ah, finally we got some suggestions. I was waiting for this.
I mean, you figured out something to focus on. You killed this poor miner with a rock avalanche. Or
Okay, lead.
it's like silver?
Wait a second. Yeah. Type, it's more of bluish, dark bluish tone. This one could work. Could work.
Poor guy, just doing his job. Mining. Rocks collapsed. It's such a subtle detail. So even if you're like, uh, you don't need it to be a lead mine.
Yeah.
It's not like in your face. This could also
I have
be
a cobalt mine. That was a very interesting commission because of a spelling mistake.
a spelling
I
mistake.
thought he wanted to have a cobalt mine, but he wanted to have a cobalt mine. So now we have a cobalt cavern. A cobalt cavern cave.
So you got two. It's fine. That works. Maybe someone needs that too. That is very different though. You want blue gemstones.
It looks like a normal mine.
Oh, Oleg says, and if the players start hitting the ore or inhaling the dust, they get poisoned. Lead poisoning? That would not be fun. That makes me think of Skyrim because I feel like in Skyrim they had like just pockets of ore like that in random places, and you're like you could tell that was mineable. Yeah.
This is mineable.
Yeah. This is definitely a map I could use, though. I was like thinking about things I could do with this map for my West Marches.
All right.
So Olex might see it in use. We'll see. He says, just you wait until players decide to lure enemies to the ore and use it to poison the baddies. Are the players that smart, though? You know? Some groups, yes. My group, probably not. They wouldn't even look at the ore. They'd just be like, ooh, mushrooms. And they'd be eating those.
Better than eating the lead.
That's true.
Why is everything toxic in this cave? Who ate all the things in this cave?
Why are you eating everything? All right. Below the water.
Now
Yeah.
we make the water areas.
Oleg says sometimes they collectively get a brain cell. You're right. One brain cell to share between the six of them. Sometimes the brain cell gets them. That's funny. I always forget to put things in the water. And then when I like go to put it in like Foundry, I'm like, wow, this looks really plain. This one section.
I sometimes also forget to do the water areas.
Ooh. Here we go. We've got our waterfall feature here.
I'm not so happy with these water.
This feels too big. Yeah. Changing your transitions to make it feel like there's waves in the water. A stream. There should be a secret chest behind the waterfall. It's a tradition. Oh yeah, so you just disabled the border on the water because the water itself will put its own like border around the edges. Right. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't flow right. Like this looks like it's a stream kind of going in that direction, but the borders make it seem more like a still pond or something. Like the waves kind of hitting all the edges. So I always forget you.
Always hitting the edges.
Yeah, always hitting the edges.
But I don't like the rough outlines.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too much too. Yeah.
Mm.
Sand, the bottom. A small detail, but then it breaks up that solid blue.
Correct.
And makes it look like the bottom of the this little river is exactly like the rest of the cave, just full of water.
Okay. Final part for the shadows.
Oh yes. Which I always think adds so much.
And because I have placed the top walls on layer 4, nothing else, I can go underneath the top walls with the shadows, giving it more height.
Which is why it's important to use the layers and also to have a system for your layers, which I don't have. That I always forget to do. And then I'm like, man, why didn't I put this on the right layer? Then I have to move everything. Which you can do. You can change what things are on, but it's much easier to just place them on the layer from the get-go. And something I think that comes just from like art and design is very useful to pick a direction that is your light source and just always use that as your your where your light source is. It's hard in a cave, though, I feel like.
Yeah, for caves we don't need the extra shadows. I'm just thinking, I'm feeling there's something missing. I know what is missing. One little detail.
Oh. Footprints.
Just a few. Okay.
Very good.
So, oh, I haven't saved once. Risky.
Oh. Remember to save. The amount of times I've lost things because I forgot to save. And then, like,
Okay.
crashes.
I mean, it's just an hour, so.
Yes. But it's still an
Now we get to
hour.
the.
To the lighting. This is the hard part, I think.
You think?
I do. I think because, like, I don't know. You can do so much with it, but then it also, like, you have to pick the right colors, and I don't know. It's just.
That's so easy.
You say that, but you do this for a living. See, like, look at how you very specifically looking for specific colors and.
Natural colors. It's kind of whitish, bluish, for cave at least.
And I feel like the lighting is like that extra step that really kind of takes your map to the next level. And I just feel like I don't get it like right. It just doesn't seem to.
You have to use the um, special effects assets. Forgotten Adventures, I think they are.
Forgotten
One of the
Adventure.
realistic assets I have. One of the few.
Yeah, they have a lot, I think, of free assets too, but they look different than Dungeondraft stuff, so I never use them. I think, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Is it one of the AOA packs or Kroger? I cannot remember. It says Lois.
AOA. AOA.
You always make like you place a lot of little circles for
Yep,
lights. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. But I think
So
that
with
gives you.
very, very low intensity. This way I can regulate how much light I want to have.
Mhm. Yeah, it just gives you more control.
Okay, I think this would be enough.
Yep.
Got a little bit darker.
I did turn off all of my filters for this stream so that it doesn't look brighter than it is. Because my like camera uh and the lighting situation in my office is dark and gray. So
All right.
there you go.
Hmm. First map done. Just
And yeah,
took an hour. Perfect timing.
yep.
So now we go over to the next one. I've prepared something. We'll have it to save a little bit of time. So I already created a layout for the cave
Mhm.
and an exterior area.
Mm.
So the idea is that we have a huge hole here, which we will cut out by exporting one version without terrain and one with the terrain. And we without the terrain, you can simply select this area with one click, remove it, and then do an overlay. But that's for a different time. Now we focus on the cave. Just a second.
This one will be pretty interesting. That's also something I struggle with is like making caves that are interesting that aren't just like a hole in the cliffside, you know?
Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of ways to make caves interesting, like with the last one, having a little bit of civilization architecture, or like having with fantasy elements. And I think we can do this perfect on this map, which provides us some moss and grassy terrain within the caves. And I don't know if you have played RimWorld.
No.
Also a huge inspiration for me. There they have a lot of growing plants and crystals.
Everybody on this Discord server tells me to play RimWorld though. They said I would really like it. And I'm like, well, yes, but do I need another time sink? Probably not.
Yeah, RimWorld is dangerous. I think I have more than 1,000 hours.
That's what everybody says, and I'm like, I don't know if I need another game like that.
Problem is, RimWorld is also a top-down game where you build maps, basically. I'm doing maps all the day. All day long. It's very, very helpful to learn how to make realistic maps, because you have to provide a whole colony with resources. And then you have to build a barn, a proper field, and the tools you need for a field. And you get all the ideas that you can implement in your maps.
Huh.
So.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense because it's built into the gameplay. Olex is very excited that we talked about RimWorld. He said something about human hats. I don't know what that means, but you might.
Sorry?
He says human hats? I don't know what that means.
Still haven't heard it properly. Human what?
Hats. Like a hat for your head?
Human hats.
I don't know. Okay.
I have an idea. What he might think. There are more humans involved, I guess, than just one.
Is the moss a Dungeondraft asset or one of yours? The screen moss.
It's one of mine. A recolored version of it. I would recommend, if you do your own assets, start with recoloring basic ones. Very helpful. So, I was sick of the basic colors I had. I needed new ones.
Yeah, I do think that's one thing. More variety in colors. Or just the ability to pick your own colors for everything.
So, we can also ask the community what they want to see here. Oh no. I hate when this happens.
Would the moss also go up the walls? Yeah, probably.
Interesting idea. Can do that. Haven't think about it. Did
You did it
not
again.
again. Now.
Any other ideas for the cave, chat? Let us know. If it has moss, what else likes moist and maybe it could be humid in there, maybe? Doesn't moss like humidity?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what might like that kind of environment outside of moss. Jacob says, what about a puddle where the hole is?
Here?
Yeah, maybe.
Or like here?
I think he means there, like where the yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit difficult now. Because I already set up the walls in the correct order. I thought about adding water here in this area.
That might be good because, again, moss likes humidity, so there'd probably be water in there. Sorry, Jacob. It's a good idea. Jacob says the water would most likely flow downward anyway. You're right, because that is a lower point of the cave. So yeah, make it kind of green because moss and algae likes humidity, right? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Now
Area, definitely, yeah.
okay. Now I'm like second guessing everything. I'm like, I don't know anything about nature now.
It looks great already.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Usually
looks
I have
great.
to pick the color more than once. Be satisfied.
Ferns. Jacob said ferns would grow for sure. We make it more tropical, I guess. It's a tropical cave.
Ferns are not tropical. No.
They're not? I guess they're not.
No. I've been into a lot of forests here.
That's true.
And I can't remember Germany being tropical.
That's true. I guess they just grow in like forests too. I'm thinking more of like palm trees, I guess. Because I just was at the beach. That's why. I'm gonna blame that. We got our baby rocks. Every rock needs a friend. Since there's vegetation, something would eat it, Olex says. Maybe add some tracks of animals that eat the moss. That's smart.
Interesting.
What eats moss?
There's something else we can place here.
Oh, roots.
Roots.
Yeah, to get into the water too. They would seek out the water. Jacob says rabbits or turtles would eat moss. Is that true?
Probably. Would fit the theme.
Do turtles eat moss? What do turtles eat? Now I'm not sure.
Depends on the turtle. There are carnivore turtles and herbivore turtles.
Huh. Lemmings and deer eat moss too. Deer definitely eat moss. I watch Bambi. Don't they eat bark off of trees too?
Young trees, I think. Yeah, sometimes protected with a special paint as well, and some Maschendrahtzaun fences, special type of fences.
Like wire fences.
Yeah, wire fences.
It's interesting how different this cave is from the other cave, even though it's
Even though I'm using
the same
the
thing.
same assets.
Yeah.
I mean, the roots are new, but rocks all the same.
Yep. And it's mostly just like the colors and the like moss. Just those two little those two little details already changed it, and then we just built on that. There would be a lot of different insects in the moss. I don't think I have many insect related assets for Dungeondraft. That could just be because I don't like bugs, but I don't I don't know.
I have few, but I rarely place animals on maps. Just tracks of animals. I think people want to have the maps more clean of living beings.
That makes sense. Especially
Or at least they have
since,
more use for it.
well, because you want to put tokens of the living creatures so you can move them around. And you can't do that if there's
Like
already.
insect swarms. You can
Yes.
place insect swarms.
Yep. Oh, like a tree fell down here. Or some branches at least.
Yeah, at least some branches. Fallen trees are difficult. I have a few prefabs, but they're nightmare.
Yeah, because there's so many branches and leaves and
I have one. Could
it's so big though.
this one.
Wow. I mean, that one's
Nah, it
cool.
doesn't really fit. Nah, it doesn't really fit.
No, but it's cool. That's one thing we haven't really touched on as much in the last two streams. Last time we touched on it a bit, but prefabs save a lot of time if you make complicated things or just something over and over again. So,
I rarely make prefabs for nature, like the fallen tree or I can show. Why is it always selecting the wrong ones?
he just wants to select
No,
all of them. Huh.
I don't know why.
Maybe you've hit a bug.
Maybe restarting. Fix it. Seems like it's locked to a certain color. Yeah,
The first one. Yeah,
maybe.
it's like locked on that first one.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I can't do the hotkey for it. Left.
Jacob says he does tons of prefabs for tables and desks. That seems to be what I use the most often. Yes, same.
Yeah,
A lot of tables of food, actually.
exactly. I mean, I've got all these tables here.
Yep. And
Table alchemy,
shelves.
desks, dining,
Uh-huh.
dining, way more dining.
Well, because if you build like a tavern, you need like so many tables in it. And then you like, well, what do I don't want them all to be empty. So then you start like, you know, doling up each one. So
I think we can go for glowing mushrooms here.
Woo.
Know the color. I think orange is always fitting with brown.
That's a little bit of like color theory there.
It's more like what it feels or what my memories are of. Other people have done. done it, so I just have to remember.
Well, color theory is like, I mean, like, that's I don't want to say scientific way because it's not really scientific, but that's like the more structured way of looking at color. But if you just go with what feels right, then you're probably right. Although, if you're my husband and you're red green colorblind, don't do that. Jacob says that food and game tables are the ones he has the most of as well. Yeah, see, it's just very, very common. Like card tables. And you know what would happen? My players would come in here and be like, "Why is this mushroom orange?" And then they try to eat that one.
Yeah. Want to say that.
Or they
And then
could,
they try to eat it.
you know, or they try to climb on these big ones. Can I climb on top of the big mushroom? You can certainly
Is it
try.
fluffy?
Yeah, is it fluffy?
Do I get a jump boost?
If I bounce on it. And I like that these shrubs are like kind of where that opening of light is, because that kind of makes sense. Otherwise, you don't really see that kind of greenery in the cave. I'm going to bring this up. I know we mentioned it last stream, but one thing Birdie likes to do a lot is like pick colors that are all like close to each other but are varying shades and use those for his assets so that like when you're scattering them, they're not all the same color too. You got a little bit of variation. And I think it really adds a lot.
You've learned a lot last time.
I'm trying. I still don't think I'm, a good map maker, but I'll pick up some tips and tricks.
So what I now was looking at which mushrooms I've used on the top layer. So I pick the same ones for here.
Right? Because it's all the same area, so you don't want it to look too different. Such a like typical thing, rotting wood with mushrooms sticking out of it.
True.
Oh, did someone fall in this hole?
No person.
Oh no.
But I think more of a horse. I think this is a horse skeleton.
It does look like it. I don't really know anything about skeletons though, so.
I only know they are difficult to draw.
What is that? Like a dragon?
Giant snake or something. Oh.
And the webs.
Always the same things. But it's very helpful if I can't think of anything. I just do what I know.
Yeah. Because you want the map to still have details, something to catch the eye at least a little bit. And I mean, spider webs can grow, they can be anywhere, you know? Spiders are everywhere. It's funny, I was thinking that was very uh, plain too. And when you were putting the spider web in, I was like, that doesn't seem normally what he does. How long did it take you to make the stuff up top, off stream?
Uh, I started when you contacted me today, when you
So,
said in 1.5 hours.
oh, okay.
Then I thought, okay, I do something.
Like
That's a quick one. I think something special can be placed here.
what?
Hmm.
A stash? A secret
Kind of,
ritual?
kind of druidic place. It's magic.
Like a totem?
Mm-hmm. Totem, but a runestone. Look for a specific one. It's mine. This one.
Ooh.
Again, another color that feels right. That is not orange.
Green. A brighter green than the water and or purple. Purple is the opposite of orange though. Pink. Jacob says pink.
Oh, pink is difficult. Very difficult. I don't think it fits. Go for green.
Especially if it's druidic. I don't know. Druidic always feels green. Ooh. These are cool.
I think I need to release my pack. It's a pack I've already ready. I have that's the expansion 2, and I'm
Uh-huh.
already working on expansion 3, but I haven't even released expansion 2
You
yet.
need to release expansion 2 if it has these cool rocks in
Yeah.
it.
Now we do something cool. It's always nice to see.
Do you ever run out of room for colors? What's the max number of colors you can put on here?
I'm not sure.
Ooh, and you're just putting it on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, smart. That'd be useful for like cave drawings too. Like you wouldn't have to make them
Mm-hmm.
green. Are you gonna make this area glow green?
Exactly. Very predictable.
Well, it's magic, you know? I feel like magic has a glow to it, right? This is also a map I could totally do stuff with for the West Marches.
But interesting. I'm not sure if you ever noticed. how much you are active on Reddit or so. Um, at the moment, there's a trend for underwater maps or
Really?
water maps in general. Yeah, I see these trends all the times. It starts by um that I receive a lot of commissions of these types, and it's always a phase. One last year around this time, I had ships, so many ship commissions.
Huh.
One time it was hell commissions with hell themed maps. Like it's a running theme that's going on, and I want to figure out what's
Who's
currently released, like movie or so.
Yeah, who's coming up with this? Although I just joined a game with one of my friends and they have a pirate themed campaign. So maybe it's just like did something else pirate related come out? I don't know. It's pretty fun. I make a lot of animal puns in that one. Like sea animal puns because I'm a druid. So
What type of druid?
I did a Circle of Seas druid, which is in the new 2024 rules, because I was like, obviously never played that before. So she gets this like instead of like for wild shape, then she gets to use her wild shape to make this like aura around her of seawater, and then she can use it to like target something, and they have to make a Constitution save or get pushed away from her. And then they also take damage.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a unique build.
Oh, I was always a huge fan of Circle of the Moon.
Yes, me too. Jacob says, it's so funny y'all mentioned these trends because I started thinking up an idea of doing a ship-based campaign like 3 or 4 years ago and finally did. And that trend started. Yep, so we got our footprints in here. I never thought about that though. I'm not on Reddit that much, so like because Reddit sometimes is a great place and sometimes it's a bad place. So I just don't I
Oh
don't
yes. Oh
I
yes.
don't I don't hang out on Reddit that much. Um
Yeah, I deleted it from my mobile.
yeah.
It was drawing too much attention, and it's not good for your mental health
Yes.
over long run. And only being able to use it in the browser is much better.
And that's really when I use it is like I'm looking for maps or need advice to run a campaign or something, and then all these Reddit posts come up in the search, and I'm like, okay, I'll read what these people say. And then it's more constructive, and you're more like research instead of like social media, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should do underwater maps then next if you're doing all unless you don't want to do underwater maps because you're like, I'm only doing underwater maps.
Yeah, let's see how many I've done
Yeah.
next time. But in general, I can make one. That's possible. There are a lot of water themed features in maps.
I wouldn't even know what to do because, like, it's not like I've been scuba diving or anything before, so I wouldn't even know what to put underwater most of the time.
Think of Finding Nemo,
Oh,
and then you get your ideas.
I have watched Finding Nemo way too many times. That was like a movie when I was in high school, they would put on in the auditorium like the last few weeks of school. And like if you were done with like whatever you were in study hall, you could go in there and watch the movie. That was like all you did, and like it was like middle school or high school. I think swamp themed or desert themed maps would also be cool to see, said Jacob.
Swamp, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the most difficult nature types maps.
Ah,
I have one that I can show.
sure.
That was pretty okay. Should I share my screen or just Dungeondraft?
Whatever you want.
I was asking you what I'm doing right now. I'm not sure.
Oh, right now you are showing Dungeondraft.
Dungeondraft only. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I show it later.
Okay.
I think a little bit in the water. We're missing something here.
Yeah, swamp would be hard because I feel like there's so much growing in a swamp and it's like so crowded.
The lack of assets is the problem.
Oh.
So swamps are a lot about coloring as well. That's also a reason I made these darker moss texture, grass texture for swamps.
Makes sense. Because I feel like when you think swamps, everything is like muddy and brown and dark and green.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing because I run. I don't know if you've heard of the Dungeons of Drakenheim like campaign, but I've been running that, and inside the city everything is like a purple haze, so all I have to do most of the time is just like put one light on any map and then just turn it purple and it all feels like it's in that world.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to adjust the lighting.
Yep. Add a little mist animation to the uh, light, and voila, you're in Drakenheim. These are cool plants.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually can't think of anything else right now. Ah, shadows. Ah, nearly forgot the shadows.
uh, Nasty says that the mushrooms look like tomatoes. And is
Yeah,
that
then it's a tomato cave.
it's a tomato cave? That's probably why my players want to eat every mushroom.
That's how your players see the world.
Yeah, those look like tomatoes. Chomp. Geez, it's always like surprising how much just a little shadow makes the map just like stand out.
Shadows, lighting, and color. Okay. Can get to the lighting. I always create an extra layer for the lighting and copy the original one. If I want to have change something, it's difficult, but overall, it's much better having a separated layer for it with the VTT files, for example. This layer, I can now export just this as VTT or place some special lights on it here, and the VTT file already contains those lights. And this layer is for the overall lighting,
So
which is not included in Foundry.
Yeah.
I can go into detail in another session. but I made a mistake.
Has Birdie ever
Delete this.
made any forest maps on stream? I don't know, our stream at least. I don't think.
Kind of. Pretty old one where I made the watermill.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Kind of a forest.
Yeah. And you said you could make forests in like 20 to 30 minutes, which is crazy to me. Yeah, this is hard because you have a hole in the ceiling. So light will come in through there. But then you also have this water, which would reflect some light. Man, lighting is hard for me. I don't even know how you determine what colors to use.
What I need, so can you explain that? I just pick the colors that I want to place anyways, like orange for this area, green for this area, and bluish for this area. And for the ambient light, I pick a nearly white orange tone with low intensity and one with high opacity, as well as kind of more orangey, high and low. I think that's one blue. This color for the night version. Okay. First, I place the light bulbs here, the active lights that are in Foundry. So
Magic. They're all glowing. It's such a tiny detail, but it adds so much. Now I want to like know what this was made for. Why are they here?
what happens if I pick one of those glowing rocks up?
Yeah.
Does it glow again? If yes, can I keep it?
Can I keep it? And what made someone put those rocks in this cave? You know? What's special about this spot? Just that it's hidden, or
That's the question.
This is also probably why my players want to eat the mushrooms, because I'll use a lot of your maps and they're like, why is this one glowing?
Because it's toxic.
I don't think they
Now
think of it like that. Underground lighting. Oh, so like.
So
Ooh. Alex says, I look away for 10 minutes and now you're making radioactive caves. No, they're just toxic mushrooms. It's fine.
they're toxic, not radioactive.
Just don't eat them and you'll be fine. And those are magic rocks. I know they're green. It's, it's magic. Magic can be green.
Okay.
Quick save. Don't forget to save.
Exactly. And we're making a copy of it for the night version. Here. This is back. I pressed the hotkey. We are back on the day version.
Right, because there's a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because the light would reflect a little bit. So you would see it in other areas. But it'd be brighter where the hole is. And I think lighting for caves is really hard because it's dark in a cave. But when you play like D&D, you don't want everything to be like pitch black the whole time, you know?
Anyways, your players always have dark vision.
And it's true. So they can see anyway. Wow, it just looks so good.
Now to the night version.
Still have some light if it was like, the moon, the stars, a clear night, but not like it's not bright.
For the ambient light, I pick always the same color numbers, easy to remember, and then vary between red and blue. So for the night version, I picked 45, 50, and 55, and for the day version, I picked 55, 50, and 45. So with a slightly bluish or reddish tone.
Right, because the sun is kind of warm. But you might not need a day versus night version of a cave in for every cave. Depends on how far deep your players are underground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I only do this if I have a certain point where it's important.
Yes.
So if there's a lot of light, then it's important you see this light. If you, for example, you could start at here, wandering in your caves for days, and then you finally see the light. Would be something impressive. Kind of having daylight. think that would be it. Exactly 2 hours.
Yeah, good job.
On time.
Right on time. That was awesome. Well,
Okay.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Doing the rest of the map as well and finishing up them in GIMP with some post-processing steps. Not many, but a little bit. A little enhancement. But that's it, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. So we will share this. Jacob says, great stream. So thank you. But I believe you're putting this in a community pack. I'm sure if you're in the Discord, we can maybe drop them there too. These two at least.
Yeah.
And
Like
then,
last time, I share them with everyone.
sure. And yeah. If you like this type of stream, if you guys like watching us make maps, I still need to come up with a music list so it's not as quiet, but you know.
Yeah.
But if you guys like this kind of stream, let me know in the comments or in the chat or wherever, and we'll try to do another one. Maybe we'll do underwater maps if Thomas is tired of underwater commissions. But we're open to suggestions, and we just didn't get any map that were natural caves. We didn't get any from other people. But if you have underwater map ideas that you want us to try out, let us know. Or if you have a specific theme you want us to try out on stream, let us know, and we'll try to. Well, I won't be doing anything. It's really all on Birdie because he does everything and I just talk. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.